The Apple Watch Series 10 is here. It has the biggest display ever. It's also the thinnest Apple Watch ever, making it even more comfortable on your wrist, whether you're running, swimming, or sleeping. And it's the fastest charging Apple Watch, getting you 8 hours of charge in just 15 minutes. The Apple Watch Series 10, available for the first time in glossy jet black aluminum. Compared to previous generations, iPhone XS or later required. Charge time and actual results will vary.
It's been 5 years since we went online. Laurel Takashima's gone, but Susan's so fine. 5 years since the Volon came. Someone tried to kill him safe, they didn't take the plane. 12 years since we held the line. 24 hours missing out of Jeff's mind yesterday.
Welcome to the Bare Naked Ladies, the most complete Bare Naked Ladies song review podcast. We have discussed every single Bare Naked Ladies song ever created. And joining me tonight, I have Aaron, Betsy,
in the side core, we got a mind war. Iron Hearts and more, and you're the grass. Lanier and Viral, share a beer, and watch a deer disappear.
And we have a guest tonight, guys.
So it begins in little little.
Yay!
Glowing spider webs and 7 to the chrysalis.
Yeah.
Are we supposed to guess? Ryan Harden and the
Sure, go ahead, yes.
I'm the kind of guy who laughs at the shadow horde. Can't understand, then you're not a three-edged sword.
No, it's not Gordon
with my hands.
Is it Gordon Bamford?
It's not Gordon Bamford.
I would be back again. 5 years since we met in Naroon. He ended up a hero.
No, you guys stop guessing Gores for Gord's sake.
Well, let's cut this Gordian knot and get to it.
Oh,
Who is our guest tonight?
All right, fine. Tonight we have the very famous podcaster and musician. Sorry,
so angry.
my brain got sucked there for a minute. Marc,
no, wait, you scored one start like that. You have to say the name. You said band person. No, that's not good enough.
A guy named Byron,
Gordon.
and we go in a zooty zoot suit. Gonna meet the violence with the lions and the
Okay,
lions.
sound it out.
The playground with a lot of blood and sorrow. Gonna get a room on top of doing the shickle zoom and then go boom shovel lava.
Close, but we don't like to nag. So
Can I help it?
Brobdingnagian.
All the time. I'm the kind of guy I'd rather walk about than run.
Yeah, Trace, so
I've been working on that for a month now.
Everybody's here. I have a history of laughing
Marc
off it.
just
It's
put
been
this in
5
some
years since the
context for
gathering.
Tracy,
Beginning,
right?
middle, and Joe wrapped
Telling
up
us
the
that
whole
there's a
thing.
guest, but
5 years
not
since we saw
telling
this
us
show.
So we found out when we hopped in the
3 years
Zoom.
since we really knew.
Tracy, you should have told me
We gave
as
it
an
number
avid
2
music
yesterday.
player that
It went off
you
TV,
know,
but we have still got Crusade, so we ain't too sorry.
Good poster video.
I'm gonna call
We
myself
still got
proper,
Crusade,
but,
so we ain't too sorry.
I warned
We
you
still
last
got
night.
Crusade, so we ain't too sorry.
Oh, was there some kind of coded pun?
Bring me
Mom,
the head
Dad,
of
stop
Lando
fighting.
Malari.
Yes, so let's introduce our guest properly.
So Marc from the Brobdingnagian Bards. Did I get it right that time?
Brobdingnagian.
Brobdingnagian Bards. I was
Good job.
avoiding saying nag, and then
You did good. You did good. Yes. I am with the Brobdingnagian Bards. Actually, if you go to our website, there's a little link, and it says how to say Brobdingnagian. You click it, and it says Brobdingnagian, Brobdingnagian, Brobdingnagian. 3 times fast. Brobdingnagian, Brobdingnagian, Brobdingnagian. Backwards. Nagangdeborb.
Yes. Live.
Can I get the country of origin,
I
please?
don't know the band name.
Technically, well, you could either call it Irish or you could call it, just English language. It was Jonathan Swift
from Gulliver's Travels.
From Gulliver's Travels, the
Yes.
big guys, the Brobdingnagians. And that might have been pronounced actually Nagian. Who knows? I have no
Or
clue the actual
Nagian.
pronunciation.
That's a mouthful.
But the way we've always pronounced it is Brobdingnagian. So.
Well, I guess we can defer to you then, as
For
the
the band
resident
name at least.
band member.
you would be the resident expert. So
Yeah,
Yes,
for sure.
yes, this is
for
true.
sure.
And the reason I invited him on the show, I don't know if you guys know this, but their band actually
It's
wrote
Gaelic.
a
Is it?
parody of "If I Had $1 Million."
I had
Yes.
$1 million ducats.
Is this $1 million ducats? Yes.
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 Oh, I enjoyed that very much.
Which one?
Were there multiple versions?
Yes.
Actually, yes.
Oh, wow.
We recorded it like 3 times for 3 different albums, I think. And then we've also when we were in the studio for like a second time we were recording it, we were like, well, let's record it back to back as many times as we can. So we recorded like 6 versions and made a little EP called A Million Ducats, which is no longer available, but it was fun to have the different versions because everything the song is an improv song.
Yeah, so I was gonna say you obviously have an element of improvisation.
Yeah, it's a lot of it, which is very Renfest. If you've been to fairs, there's a lot of improv in it. So we usually ask people, give us 4 different things, and we will incorporate into the song. So because of that, we've had just tons of things.
That's incredible.
I mean, that's perfect for that song too.
Yeah.
Yes, I think so too. What was that?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
People involved.
And that's one of the reasons why we've been doing it for so long. I mean, that was our second biggest hit when we first started the band. So we started in 1999, started playing at a Renaissance Festival, and I think it was our first fair, and I think in our second or third week, Andrew says to me, he says, we should do a parody or something. Instead of if I had $1 million, we should do if I had 1 million ducats. And I was like, and he was just joking, and I was like, yes. And so I started writing, and which is how a lot of those things go.
Aaron, you don't know anything about that.
Sure.
Yeah, we made an entire.
It's great for
movie
crowd
because of
engagement.
that exact situation where I made a joke and Tracy was like, "Yeah, definitely." He yes-anded me into a movie.
Yeah.
See that you and Tracy, we got something in common here.
20-some years later, it finally got made or assembled.
Yeah, the final cut.
Yeah.
Worth the wait.
Now, if you don't know their band from, because I'm going to keep mispronouncing it, so I'm just going to say the band. If you don't know the band from If I Had 1 Million Ducats, you probably also know them from Do Virgins Taste Better?
Which was the first song I think we introduced our set and grabbed people
Extra
in.
virgins.
Yes. The chorus being, do virgins taste better than those who are not? Are they salty or sweet or more juicy or what? Do you savor them slowly, gulp them down on the spot? Do virgins taste better than those who are not?
That's incredible.
I love it. Yeah.
Which is another one. Again, we improv quite a bit. So it has some elements that we throw
Finally
into
pulled
it so
together.
it can vary and get just downright filthy.
Oh, yeah. I'm here for it.
Mark, I'm pretty sure I saw you guys perform at Dragon Con
It's very likely. We've been at Dragon Con since 2002.
10, 11 years ago. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that's one of our staples. It was funny because we started off at playing at our first convention was up in Long Island at Stony Brook Icon. It was a cute little convention. We started going there, and then we met this band,
make olive oil.
Emerald Rose, and they were out of Atlanta. And they said, you should come. And so we went, and we were living in Austin at the time. And little did I know, 20 some odd years later, I'd be living in Atlanta myself, and now I'm still doing Dragon Con and still having a great time with it. But yeah, we have some huge shows. We do Hobbit drinking songs. I do a
Nice.
a Firefly drinking song show.
Yay! I've been introducing Aaron, so.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. There's a whole bunch. I do lots of drinking songs, sci-fi drinking songs in general. So,
Well,
If
Mark,
there were ever a band for me.
Zombie Love Song is amazing.
thank you. That was inspired, obviously, Air Supply, but a parody of Air Supply, but it was by our friend Voltaire.
Yes.
who's also at Dragon Con.
I've seen him at Dragon Con.
Yeah, and he was out there, and Andrew and I were driving across the country, and again, as you do, you're chatting, and all of a sudden we should do, and then we do, and which is how a lot of things. The only thing that hasn't happened yet, Andrew throws out all these ideas. He's like the idea guy. He comes up with boom, 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 this, that, and the other, and just great improv. And the only thing we haven't done that he's recommended is the Brobdingnagian Bards movie with the Muppets. One of these days
I really hope that becomes a thing. But I would also put you in touch with Noah Gen X,
Oh, yes.
Yes.
for the Pollywog in a Bog video.
That would be a start. That's a good starting point. Yeah.
I will send you his information. I'm
All right,
sure he would
sounds
be
good.
all over that.
He's got the Muppet quality.
That would be awesome.
And he's our guest next week. So if I forget, guys,
Is
just
he?
remind
You
me.
finally tell us ahead of time. I can prep. I mean, I already know Noah, but yeah, that's why you're like, you've talked to him a few times
Aaron,
already.
that's as mad as you get, too. It's okay.
That's literally as mad as I get.
He's
I'm
livid
trying
right
to
now.
line up as
Yeah.
many guests as I can during this time.
No, this is great. So, anyways, hey, what are we doing this week?
Well, we should discuss
Herding
the
those
album Gordon. So
Well, that's why we were all asking about Gordon's.
yeah, that must be it. You had Gordon
Synchronicity.
on the brain.
Yeah. Oh, it's another Gordon. Sting. He's a Gordon.
Oh, yeah. I knew it. Gordon Shumway. I said it should have said
Alf,
Gordon Shumway.
come on the show. We know you
Gordon
listen.
Gordon Shumway, we know you listen. Come on the show.
Could I forget Alf?
So I think, unless I missed the assignment, we were to take the tracks from Gordon and then reorder them as we would have them.
Oh, interesting.
Correct.
that
Well, I
correct?
think first let's kind of just discuss a little bit about what we like about Gordon and whether we even want to reorder it, and just our general feelings on this album.
Feelings. Nothing more than
I mean,
feelings.
we know how
Gordon Lightfoot,
Stefan feels about Gordon.
Classic performer.
Uh-oh. Opening up a can of worms right from the beginning.
Oh, I want to hear this.
So what's your take on Gordon?
Oh, wow. Awesome.
I'm picturing you in a truck driving along coastal Maine. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was more of a Master of Puppets guy, but I totally get it.
I'm not saying anything. I
I know
think
it's heavy
it's
into
the
Wilson
album.
Phillips. Sorry to disappoint.
When Bare Naked Ladies is mentioned, that's the album I think of. I grew up with Gordon since 1992, cruising around in high school.
Yeah, I mean,
doing all kinds of things. Great memories were made in
as first
Blasting Bare Naked
official
Ladies.
albums go.
It was a lot of
very good
fun.
one.
So we
So, for those who don't know, Gordon
it was
actually
sweet,
had
but I mean,
two different backgrounds.
We went everywhere.
First
doing
of
all
all-
kinds of crazy stuff.
Yep.
We
going
have
off-roading and whatnot.
the one that most people know
We had
with
a
the
lot of
Gordon
fun,
ball
so.
on the front of it,
We do.
which maybe people
Different
mistake
types
for the
of
Pepsi
music.
ball. It's the Gordon ball. But
I'm
the-
not saying legally that they ripped it off, but Pepsi owes B&L some
They
money.
did
really
not
enjoyed
rip it
Gordon.
off, I guess.
Just hit the spot for us.
We may have ripped off them
good
with
intro.
our
Oh, certainly.
logo.
Bare Naked Ladies.
Certainly.
I was hoping that would help them from
But
some
then there's
Faces
the
to
original
faces.
one,
Oh yeah, I've definitely seen that.
Still
and
has
maybe
the
our
ball,
picture
but-
that we had from the first
Yeah,
season
good.
I recognize that.
was based off from this picture.
I was Tyler coming
Perhaps.
in with the fist bump.
Now the guys did not like this photo, so they they decided to go with the Gordon
Why?
ball once it took off.
Playful.
Yep.
Because they're a very serious band that never has fun, Betsy.
They took the ball and they ran with it. No, I know. Hey, I'm an expert in BNL, so yeah, I know.
Got a black belt.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, what is going on my screen tonight?
You
Which
look like
one?
you're on the ride in Willy Wonka's chocolate factory where they're going through the tunnel with all the lights.
There's
got
no
three screens,
way
buddy.
of really knowing.
So does
So-
anyone else, Mark, Betsy, you want to share your thoughts on Gordon just as a real quick summation before we dive in?
On the whole,
On the whole,
I mean, I'm kind of like cuspy generationally. I was born at the time where I did
Xennial.
usually, kind of like with the Xennial. So I'm kind of like
Oregon Trail
I
generation.
do listen, yeah. I do listen from a CD from start to finish. Like I grew up doing that, but I've also acquired listening to it piecemeal. So listening in a certain order has become like less of a priority for me. But I realize that that's not necessarily the best thing because it's kind of intentionally created for a certain flow. So I'm used to this flow, but I think there could be some changes. I have an omission and I have an addition and I have like a swap or two. But overall I did
Interesting.
like it.
Okay.
I like the order. But
Mark, do I do? Oh, hi, Mark.
Hi. I'll be honest. I'm not entirely sure I could provide much. I've heard a few tracks from the album, but a lot of the music that I've heard stuff later on in the Bare Naked Ladies career, but it's like we had some tracks that just hit the top of the radio,
Yeah.
and we
It was
were
impossible not to hear some of those. For
yes,
sure.
and so those are the songs that I knew and fell in love with the most. Obviously, if I had $1,000,000. But
No, you spontaneously came up with Million Ducats.
no, yeah,
It's
it's
like
funny you
Athena,
say
fully
that.
formed from Zeus's head.
You never know. But I did do we did do karaoke once with If I Had $1,000,000 though, and
Oh, nice. Yeah.
you say that except for that it's in a different key than we sing it,
Oh no.
much higher.
Oh no, that's my nightmare.
Yeah, I haven't done karaoke since.
Oh my god.
Oh.
I like the places that let you transpose the songs.
Oh, God, that would've been
we're going
amazing.
down 4 half steps.
But in 2001, I'm not sure if we
Yeah,
had that.
yeah.
Right.
So, but yeah, there's I couldn't go much deeper than that. So,
Now, I know that one of their earliest concerts in America, well, their earliest concert in America was at South by Southwest.
oh wow,
Okay.
yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't know if you had ever seen them at South by Southwest back
I
then.
have never seen them. I would love to see. I've heard. Well, I listened to a few of your episodes, and
Sorry.
No, it was like there was definitely hearing about the concerts in particular. I was like intrigued. I love seeing a great concert, and it sounds like they put on a fantastic one, including their. What was he? Someone said that they're like two. I listened to the like in particular. I listened to the one on the last one you did of $5 million, and it
I've
might have been
never
that one or a different
karaoke.
one where you were talking about
Can't afford it.
the concert. There was like 2 encores, I think, and for one of the show songs, and to bring on "If I Had $1,000,000," and someone was saying we got to wait for that. So, yeah. So, but I like seeing a great concert.
I would recommend going to see Stephen Page in concert
Yes.
if you
oh
get the
yes,
chance.
most definitely.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
If you have the
He brings
choice
it.
between Stephen Page and Bare Naked Ladies, I would choose Stephen Page.
Why is that?
It's sort of okay. So, the analogy I use is Roger Waters and Pink Floyd, right? When Roger Waters left Pink Floyd, they became much poppier, and then he's like the Roger Waters / John Lennon guy, and Ed is like the Paul McCartney, David Gilmour guy. He's a little more commercial, a little more poppy. So I find the real magic is where the two meet, right? But of the two, as a secret goth, I always go with the angsty one. So I'm
Right,
loyal to Steven.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, Stephen adds the angst to the band.
Does he
Oh, yeah.
does he do it a solo, or does he have a band? backing
It
him?
depends. Sometimes
He
he
usually
does
has a
solo
band, but he
concerts,
does-
but
yeah,
he
like
also has the
featuring a-
Stephen Page trio with Kevin Fox and Craig Northey, and they are just
Yeah.
phenomenal
Yeah,
artists.
I've seen them twice, and they've been excellent
Wow.
each time. Yeah, very tight.
And they do much smaller venues, so it's really cool because you can be
Yeah,
right up next
more
to 'em.
intimate space.
Right. That's always nice. Yeah. Definitely.
Oh, George Harrison.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yay!
Excellent.
He used to have good taste.
He is the designated haterade drinker on the show.
Well, we gave Gordon a really high ranking. It's going to be hard to improve upon Gordon. We gave it a 4.37 as an average for the whole
pretty
group.
darn good.
And that's what
I'm a fan of
Betsy's
Stephen Page. That's
3.7
why I like
bringing it
Gordon
down.
as my
That's
album.
out of 5,
Whoa,
Mark.
no need to
I
throw
like all-
shade.
or-
Okay. We
all
all
albums
said
that
things
have
we
some-
were
Just
great.
wipe these tire marks
I
off of me.
listened
Sorry
to-
about that.
Yeah.
Stephen on
Yeah, did you
his
get the
own,
license
I'm
plate of
told.
that?
Yeah,
bus
I
industry?
know.
Because it kind of piqued an interest. So
I think
I'm like,
Keanu
okay,
was
let's
driving.
give
The
it a
license
whirl.
plate's a Gordon. I don't know.
Hey, so far, I really like his stuff. Good.
But yeah, I mean, we ranked that really
I know.
high.
I'm picky.
As an average. So it's going to be hard to improve on it, but I think we
I'm on-
might be able to. It'll be interesting to see. Is there anyone that would like to start by saying whether they would make any changes to this album?
As a oh wait, Stefan.
You made a noise first.
I assume you respect dibs, sir.
Correct. Yeah, we can't grab any songs that they hadn't thought of yet.
I gotcha.
And I also
You can go alphabetical.
removed from the,
The
list.
ABCs.
Hey.
I also removed from the list all of their covers because BNL has never
it.
had a cover on any of their albums except for the Persuasions album. They don't do covers on their studio albums.
okay,
and so
you-
I don't
you
think
made a
it's
noise
fair
first.
for us to,
I-
even though they have
would-
some really great ones like
I
Lovers
just
in a
wanted to
Dangerous
know-
Time. I don't think it would be within
That is-
their
I
modus
like knowing the
operandi
boundaries. Now
to
it's
put that
it's like
on.
it's
Yeah.
whatever songs
Well,
were
I
on Gordon
completely spaced.
or made before
completely
Gordon,
spaced
right?
on that part anyway.
Okay.
So all I did was
So-
reorder the tracks
too.
on the album as I
Me
would.
too.
But you know,
Okay,
at least
cool.
we can
I'll let
talk
Aaron
about
go.
All right, so who wants Stefan? Did you
I just
wanna
wanted
lead
to
us
know
off?
I did it right. So,
All right. Well, to your point, Tracy, where you said, you know, or if you would reorder it, I wasn't aware that was an option, so I did reorder it. And you know, here's just kind of thinking about how I would plan out an album. Here's what I came up with. So track 1 on an album with The Flag, which I would consider the emotional core or climax, and Brian Wilson, which is up there in the running for the best track on the album. We need to open with a banger.
oh, okay.
Enid
I
is catchy,
I
it's fun,
included
it's
some of
upbeat. It
those.
also happens to be a great song. I think it's a nice boom energy right out of the gate. Good way to open the album.
So you're starting with Enid.
Starting with Enid.
That's
Number
what I
2.
did.
Oh, nice. I mean, yeah, I'm curious
ahead,
how much
Aaron.
crossover we have. So 2. What a good.
No. I want to hear what Aaron
that?
has to say.
Oh yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
That's what we
That's
count.
that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Number 2, what a good boy. We bring the tempo down a little, but still a good song. Number 3, Grade 9. Not a bad song, but it's no What a Good Boy, and it's certainly no Enid. So we need to start sprinkling in songs that aren't quite as strong. But Grade 9 still a fun little upbeat song, and I think it fits well in the 3rd slot. Number 4, I Love You. Another solid song. Brings the tempo down a little. We don't want to go super slow yet. We're saving that for towards what would be the end of the first side of the record or the cassette.
That's another category there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's so mostly I'm thinking about, like, you know, I know
way
to Betsy's point, most people just kind of listen to
I'm
individual
way
songs
different,
now.
so
or
go
they have
ahead.
playlists. They use these streaming services like Spotify and things like that.
Well, it's like
Yeah.
CD versus album versus
Yeah.
album.
Oh yeah,
vinyl
I
or
mean CDs you don't
cassette.
need to change the sides anymore. Yeah, but
Right.
so I'm just old enough to remember have a Sony Walkman and have the cassettes. So yeah, I do still think of that, even though it's completely antiquated and, you know, technologically based on something that's not even really used anymore. But although I guess they're making a comeback, the cassettes, I think. But yeah, so it is something I like to think about. But I'm more trying to think about the album as a whole. Like, I remember I mentioned Pink Floyd earlier.
Yeah.
They used to like draw out almost like bar graphs that would look like a city skyline and be like, okay, so here's where the really high highs are and the low lows. I think there's something to that. So let's see. I Love You. Number 5, The King of Bedside Manor.
Mwah.
We bring the tempo back up, keep things varied. I like this song, but I think it should be somewhere here in the early middle. 6, Blame It On Me. Okay, Now it's time to bring the tempo down a little more. Upon listening to this song again, I think I like it better than the 3.55 I awarded it at the time. I think I was comparing it to Brian Wilson, which I knew was coming up, and it's sort of similar to that song harmonically, but it's slower, not as dynamic. I really do love some of those harmonies, though, so I might award this like a 4.0 if I were to do it again. But that's number 6. Number 7, Box Set, upbeat and peppy again after the languid pace of Blame It On Me. Also feels like a good halfway through song. And then 8, Wrap Your Arms Around Me, definitely the last song of side A. I think this placement makes sense if you look at the album like a story. This feels like the closing of an act. I can't recall if I brought up Crosby, Stills, Nash & Young when we reviewed this, Tracy, but it's definitely giving me those feels for sure. I really like this one. I'm glad I gave it a 4.2, but I could justify pushing this up to at least a 4.5 if I were to rate it today. I think, I'm struggling to find much to offer in the way of criticism. It's a really good song. Number 9, Be My Yoko Ono. First track of side 2, right? So again, nice upbeat, peppy song, kind of bouncy, jump starts the second side. I think it's quite fun. It's a well-crafted song, super satisfying and tight harmonies. You would expect this to be a single, so this would be like the B-side. Crazy for number 10. So hearing some of these songs that we tackled earlier in the show in the literal ABCs, when I didn't have a good handle on the entirety of the catalog, I was very harsh on a lot of these earlier songs, I think now. So either I've mellowed out in my old age, or I've gained, even more appreciation for the early years, having, the more recent work as a point of comparison. I think it's a combination. I think I've mellowed out a bit. So now when I think about what would constitute a 5, it's a little more attainable.
Wait, are you calling Yoko Ono crazy?
He wouldn't be the first.
I admire your restraint in waiting until I took a breath to utter that pun. That was good. No, when I listen to a song like Crazy, it's still not a 5, but I would certainly rate it higher than the 3.3 Handlebar Mustaches that I awarded it initially. So at least the 3.7. I think, we're closing in on the possibility of ending up on the playlist, but I think it's landing in the high 3s for me. Still a very good song. Not a bad one to follow Be My Yoko Ono, I don't think. 11, New Kid on the Block. This is another one that has that Brian Wilson bounce feel to it. It's interesting to think that this band almost became a that kind of song band, right? Because they ended up kind of being like a country-flavored pop rock for dads band. And if they had maintained this kind of track, which is a little more jazzier and fusion-y, I'm very curious how the more recent material would have been. Of course, that assumes that certain personnel changes didn't occur and things like that. But just interesting to think about.
I think that was
almost like
Andy
a signature
influence.
sound of that. Very well could be, because it's a lot of jazz in there. But yeah, this was almost like the signature sound of that album. But anyway, of those 3 or 4 songs that feel like that, this is probably my least favorite. It's not terrible or anything, but I think it's probably a good place to kind of, we're starting to, we've eased into the second side. Things are slowing down. We got to hide a couple of the songs that aren't as strong, right? Psych! Because the next song is The Flag. We got number 12, Ooh. The Flag. The song is such a gut punch, it deserves to surprise you in the order. And from a narrative perspective, this would be about the climax of a film, right? Near the start of the third act. The rest of the album is sort of gently massaging you so you can recover after all this. 13, and what better way to massage you than the super chill intro to Hello City, right? It's like being in a jazz bar. You can almost see the smoke. Very, very nice, soothing kind of intro. And then it gets upbeat, but even, that song is, it's a funny song. It's got a nice little kind of jazzy feel, great harmonies. And it is a funny song, especially if you know the story behind it. It just feels like the right way to recover from The Flag. Number 14, the penultimate song. There's only 2 left now, which brings us to our guest, because this is If I Had $1 Million. So very simple song, not at all here's a very simple not at all convoluted hypothetical. If you had a magic wand that could turn songs into objects, this song would turn into a nice warm blanket. It sounds very much like what it is. It sounds like you should be wearing earmuffs and a scarf and blowing the steam off of a cup of hot cocoa or warm apple cider. Now as a secret goth, of course, I don't approve of such fuzzy feelings. But if I were the sort of jerk with a heart of gold that enjoyed feeling happy, I'd say maybe I might possibly consider raising my score to match Jeff's 4.5. And that leaves us with the final track, which, in my opinion, should be Brian Wilson. I don't feel the need to justify this at all. This is the mic drop song on the album. This is the one you play right before all the lights go off in the concert hall. This is how you close out the album. And that's me.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, thank you.
Very interesting. Now, I will say, obviously, since you didn't add or subtract any songs off this album, your average for everyone is exactly the same in terms of like what the average of the album comes out to.
Well, I kind of discussed a few potential rescores during my description there. So, but I don't think that really has to do with the order. So yeah, I mean, the songs would be the same regardless, since I didn't add or subtract. But I do think I would be curious for someone who hasn't heard this album to listen to like both. Do like a blind taste, a blind.
I gotta
test.
say, I really like ending on Brian Wilson.
Which one?
That is,
yeah, I think that's the closer. That's just me, but
I think that's amazing because then you go right back to side one again.
Yeah, and open up with Enid. I mean,
that's a really good.
They're my two favorite songs on that album, so it makes sense to me to open and close with them.
And I like If I Had $1 Million leading into Brian Wilson. Like that is very cool.
It's a little slower. Brian Wilson's a little more upbeat, and they're both great songs. They're both very memorable, and people associate them with the album. So I think they deserve to be the encore songs, if you will.
Imagine what's possible when learning doesn't get in the way of life. At Capella University, our game-changing FlexPath learning format lets you set your own deadlines so you can learn at a time and pace that works for you. It's an education you can tailor to your schedule. That means you don't have to put your life on hold to pursue your professional goals. Instead, enjoy learning your way and earn your degree without missing a beat. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
All right. Well, what about you, Betsy? Let's do your reorder now.
So, this album is kind of like they said in grade 9. I feel like half these songs are crazy and the other half is depressed, and none of them can help me study for my math test. So it's hard to balance that, even if I think there's like a little more crazy than depressed by just a little bit, because I mark them as frenetic or depressing or mellow. So there's only 2 mellows that I ranked. But anyway,
I thought you were naming off my different personalities.
We'll have to combine them into one name. So I didn't actually go as thoroughly as you did, Aaron, with an actual number for everything. I was kind of more proposing that I think either Enid or Grade 9 could start the album, even though Hello City is kind of like
it is a
very
nice,
introductory, and it eases you in.
And
I kind of like more
hello
of
in the title, so there's a nice little bit of
it does, yeah. So you would say, oh, we're
fun.
more inclined to just say hello and start the album, but it's a little slow for me, a little boring. It doesn't really catch my attention as much as the Enid or Grade 9 would. So it's kind of nice to just kind of catch your interest there.
So you starting with Grade 9 or Enid?
Either. Can I be fluid like that?
Yeah, yeah. It's warping my brain, but we can make that work. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
You're a non-Newtonian fluid, really.
I am a non-Newtonian fluid, and everything just bounces off of me. I would put Brian Wilson at the end because that's what he does during his live from homes.
For a reason.
For a reason, and he uses it as audience participation. Not that they vocally contribute, but that there's like like little shots of the audience and singing along kind of at their
nice.
homes, but you don't hear them, but they're just
Right.
kind of jamming and everything. So,
They're TikTok.
so I've kind of gotten used to having that as a closing song. Be My Yoko Ono can probably go take a walk.
Oh.
I don't
Wow,
know.
hot take.
I don't know whether it's like the blah, blah, blah in the middle or something, but something about it kind of turns me off. So I get it. I get it that it's a love song to the Beatles, kind of, and to have the relationship that they had. But then I found out that John cheated on Yoko and blah blah blah. So I'm like, I don't know if I really have an emotional connection to this song anymore. So that's why I'm like, nah.
So we're getting rid of Be My Yoko Ono.
Some
Okay.
complicated feelings about it.
Complicated feelings, yeah. It's kind of
Problematic fave.
Problematic. You get canceled nowadays. I would put in Ballad of Gordon.
I mean, it does feel like it should be on Gordon.
Gordon. I don't know why Ballad of Gordon is not on Gordon. It was before Gordon, right, Tracy?
Mm-hmm.
What the hell?
They recorded it during the Gordon sessions.
So Gordon, though, kind of became like a little mascot, right? He's like Eddie for Iron Maiden.
Yeah, but it's a really good song. So put it in there, is what I say.
Okay.
Coach.
Let's see. I didn't reorder much other than that. I think I lost steam or something. I was tired. I had a big hot chocolate and it kind of sugar crashed. Sorry. It's so good though. Worth it. Yeah, I think you can't have more than two like frenetic or two depressed songs back to back. You kind of have to do that salted caramel kind of thing. That's where it's important. Like a little this, a little that. Oh boy.
He has the sugar and then the sugar crash. It's like a sine wave, his album looks like.
Well, we count on you to be the contrarian or, the sugar and then the salt. Yeah. Sine, cosine, tangent. Oh, man.
Wow.
Fun. Good. All right. Hey, and did you guys count Dat Fodder as one of the songs? Because it did for
Das
Fodder. Dat Fodder at the end of Crazy.
You're not gonna like my lineup.
Do you count that, Tracy, as number 16?
I didn't.
So I have it in there
as like a 30-second clip, track. Aaron. Yeah, it's like a hidden track at the end of Crazy. If you wait like 10 seconds.
No, I'm hearing. Are you guys not hearing?
Oh my god!
Like us in the background.
Yeah.
No, do you have a brain tumor?
It stopped, but I had this weird.
All I have to say is you have to keep the kitchen knives away from you at the end of this.
Oh, that's crazy.
Fun.
Yeah,
that is crazy. Talking about crazy.
Sorry, Betsy.
Just like you.
Yep, admittedly.
There we go. Got to get the fancy microphone in the shot.
Mm-hmm. Fancy schmancy. That's it from me, guys.
All right. If I take, hold on one second here. Let's see what what happens to what you did with the album.
Oh, I'd have to give you what I have to like rank Ballad of Gordon.
You still toast.
Or you're just taking it out for the
I've already got them all in there.
Oh. Yeah, okay.
The technology.
Okay, that's right.
I set this up way ahead of time.
Oh god, that because I don't have a fancy microphone.
Aaron's ranking of your album is exactly the same as what Gordon was before.
Okay.
Your own ranking.
So is that it for you, Bessie?
As compared to what you had before
That means me. Maybe.
Up.
It's gone up.
Yeah.
It would be weird if it did.
It would be weird.
You brought it up to a 3.79 with your new sequencing. Heidi brought it from a 4.82. You lost a little bit from Heidi. She brought it down to a 4.75 for Heidi. And it also lost a few points for me from a 4.66 to a 4.61 with your changes.
Mine or his?
Yours.
Oh, okay. That is really statistically thorough.
I know it.
I've crunched the numbers, and this is what's going on.
I'll call you Henry David from now on because you're so
You're
thorough.
Nice.
All right, Stefan, what are your changes?
He's like, I put all the crazy songs together.
Yeah,
and all the
I want to
mellow
hear
songs.
this. All of them.
Ah,
That's a long album.
That is my official title. It's true.
Yeah, the dude, the audio producer dude abides.
It's now Gregorian chant.
He did it alphabetically.
Well, I thought I was supposed to
And they
include
say
all
Hello
the
City.
songs
Hello,
prior
City.
as well. So I'm
How
like,
are you?
let's just do this. Yeah, all of
We
them.
roll up.
Oh God, I love this already.
Yeah, well, I'm not the smartest, okay? And I'm not like Aaron, who's like an audio producer dude. It's like, oh well, you need an upper here, and then you need a lower here.
Enid?
Yeah, I didn't view it as that at all. So what I did is I
don't know. You
adjusted
stick
the
her where you
whole
want to
album.
stick her. I'm just saying. Hello, Enid. I don't know. Do what you
From
want to do.
beginning.
Stop yelling at me.
I kind of saw a pattern, almost
You
like
gotta
a
get to know her.
Off the
like
wheels.
somebody
Off the rails.
who's like
Go
in the
for it.
military, who's moving
You-
to a new city.
you have the floor.
You know, and they have to start a life over. Yeah. So exactly. So
Love you,
that's my
Stefan.
first song. Can't even read my notes here. It's Hello City. So it's basically he arrives in the city, then he has to make new friends, and then
Yeah.
you're there and you see a girl
Yeah,
that you
makes
like,
sense, makes
right? Okay.
Grade 9.
So it's Hello City. Why do you want to stick Enid like in the beginning? Why? You have to meet Enid to stick her, okay? You have to meet her. You can't stick somebody you don't know.
You turned it into a musical.
That's called
I
rape,
love it.
man.
Yeah.
No, so
Steven
so
Page has been
Hello
wanting to do
City.
a musical for a long time. He should really consult with you.
I can't even read my own writing.
Yeah.
So I have Hello City, starting it off, nice upbeat. Hello City, Ballad of Gordon, which I don't know why I put it in there. I listened to it and now I don't know why I put it there. And then New Kid on the Block, because hey, he's a new kid on the block.
Not a real
But not a
And
real
what
green
grade was he
grass.
going
That's
into?
Yeah.
Grade 9. Hello, that's right. So I was thinking
Would
of
you say
putting a
you
night
love her?
photo,
Kinda crazy
photographs
for
in
her.
there.
Oh,
But
crazy.
it doesn't have to
yeah.
go in there. And then like
You're
lilac.
keeping that, eh?
I have. Yeah. So and so then I had night photographs, kind of like okay, taking photos of people. Oh, you notice a girl, which is like lilac. Okay, I got a
Yep,
slight
yep.
interest. What would happen if I had $1 million?
Right, yeah.
I'd buy
You
her a
gotta build up
new
to
green
it, yeah.
dress. That's kind of cool. But not a real green dress. So, I really like this girl. I'm kind of crazy for her. I'm kind of crazy for her right now. And I want her to be my Yoko
dear.
Ono. You know?
What do you mean by that?
I'm going to go over to her and I'm going to ask her,
She has more than one?
will you be my Yoko Ono? To which I'm like, oh, I'm a good boy. You know, what a good boy, what a good girl. I'm losing myself here. And then then it
okay,
progresses.
okay.
Okay, we've got a relationship going. You know, I love you. Yeah, I love you. I love you now. All right, cool. We've crossed that
Ooh,
bridge. We
okay,
said
okay.
the three words, and then the relationship kind of.
You're not a good boy?
All right, I'm starting to get to
You're
know
not
her a
a
little
good-
bit
You are
more.
no longer a good boy.
She's like a box
that?
set, you know. It's like
Former
I
good
met,
boy.
yeah, I met album 1.
Were you ever a
That's
good
great.
boy?
Now I'm seeing that there's
Are you
a
cutting
separate
that
album
out?
that's a little off.
Oh, I didn't pay attention.
Okay.
Sorry.
So fine. I just want to
No, I was looking.
wrap
at
your arms
my
around
order.
me and love me, because
I just got lost
we
in
are
your eyes,
lovers
Stefan. I'm
in a
sorry.
very dangerous time. We really are. Yep. So, but again, like box set, it's starting to become a few troubles with Tracy. A little bit off on both. She's starting to not like me. I'm starting to not like her. I'm not exact.
Yeah.
I'm not really the king of bedside manner. I'm no longer the king of bedside manner. You know what I mean?
Surrender.
Surrender.
No, that was earlier. Wow. Thanks.
Yep.
Your list. I don't give a shit. Cool. So,
you're moving on to Enid.
the
Finally,
relationship
Enid.
starts breaking down a bit.
Enid,
All right,
appears
fine.
from the shadows.
I said some things. You can blame it on me. You can blame this relationship problems
Couldn't care
on
less
me.
anymore.
Yeah.
And then
Wait, where did King
the
of Bedside
flag,
Manor go?
Ah,
was in
see,
there. That was
I
in there.
Why,
you
but
did say it.
Yeah.
I listened to the flag. I'm like,
That was
okay,
the one
this
where he said he was no
kinda sounds
longer a
like
good
something that
boy.
would-
He was now
right
in
before
there.
it-
not
right
the king
before
of
it turned.
bedside manner.
And then we break up,
As it's turning, yes.
and I'm really depressed about this. So I'm laying in bed,
Thank you.
really sad, kind of like Brian
The
Wilson.
flag.
That's how I would have
The
Brian
flag.
Wilson in there, and then
No,
then
that's why this
Enid,
is interesting.
Like the order.
and I don't
Yeah,
know why.
That's a very
So-
interesting. It's a total story.
Enid, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Careless, because I don't really care less anymore. You know what I mean? It's the recovery stage. Careless is a little bit. I did say it, yes. That was after Trouble with Tracy. There's Trouble with Tracy.
The hero
Nice.
returns having changed.
King of Bedside
it
Manor.
completes
Literally not
the story
the King of
circle.
Bedside Manor. It's a sarcasm.
I love it.
And then,
No, that's awesome,
yeah.
dude. That's,
Blame it
I love
on
that
me.
it's so
That's nice,
different.
yeah.
Well, I mean,
The flag,
everyone's score went
Brian
down
Wilson,
on
Enid,
that.
and then Careless.
I think that's
It's
only because
totally
you
different
added
than what
in
you guys came
You
up
added
with.
in so many
So I
songs.
apologize,
Yeah.
but yeah, I saw
I didn't either.
I saw a smooth like.
This is way more complicated than I was led
There's
to
a story
believe.
there. This girl, yeah.
But I like the
New
story
city,
that
meets new
happened.
friends,
You brought
meets
me
new
on
new
a
girl,
journey.
dates girl.
Uh-huh,
She finds
for
out
sure,
they're
dude.
both crazy.
I feel like I know the album much better now.
Relationship breaks up. We need a little bit of time to recover and grieve, and then, all right. I think
I
I'm
guess
moving
that
on
leaves me
with Careless.
for
you
the
know.
re-sequel.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yep. Well, that's what I got
so
anyway.
I
It's
resequenced
way
based
different words.
on like the sound, how one song blended from one into the other. And much
I
like
didn't know you were
Aaron, I wanted
scoring.
it to have its
Like
dips,
you said,
but
hey,
also have its
these
rebounds.
songs that were before.
I didn't want too many
before-
depressing songs next to each other.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted it to kind of going up and down. It wasn't telling a story so much. So
That's different.
I
Yeah, it's a
really
journey.
kind of my focus was
Yeah.
on trying to get it to
It just made sense in my brain.
have that up and down and make sure that
Which
the
is
sound
a
from
bag of
the song before that
Oh, Tracy, that's
fits
right. You're on the
sound of the
podcast.
song that we're on. So my
Yours is-
Oh, God.
problem,
Get comfortable, everybody.
Yeah, let's gonna take a
It's
nice
gonna be an hour.
but it is an audio podcast, and the way I developed this was very much based
It
on
is?
the sound of it. So I kind of have to go with like we're gonna make this work sound wise. So I am starting off with Hello City. I think
Nice.
that is the right sound to start with. It's this nice little slow intro, and then bam, we're into jazz.
That's way harder for me. I can't do that. I can't do it. The whole album.
Yeah, we'll get content.
Buddy.
So then we finish off with Hello City, and you gotta get the feel for what that next song is.
I was doing that too, actually. Taking the bits and rearranging them.
Drove downtown in the rain.
Because my next song after that is going right into Brian Wilson.
Just to check out the late night.
It's okay to be wrong.
Yeah, I don't agree. I love you, and you're not correct.
You are valid, but you're not.
All right, buckle in. Here we go.
It's a safe space, but what the fuck?
One of the things that I will say that I couldn't, I can't tell you, the absolute. What would you say the top 5 songs on this album are? Really quick. What do you before I go? Before I make
top 5 songs? I would say Brian Wilson.
Right.
I would say Enid. I would say If I Had $1 Million. The Flag.
Definitely The Flag.
And probably. Ooh.
Yeah, it gets
after that, I
there.
struggle with the next one with the evenness for the other ones.
Okay, because whenever I put together an album, it's like I try to put the because when you give it to a radio DJ, they're not going to listen to the music typically, right. And so you want to give them like the absolute best things. And there comes the challenge of the artist. Do you give something that makes the album sound better? Which sounding like "Hello City" might be a great start for this album, or do you pick the song that's going to really get people in there? I think a couple of you picked Enid to start, which seems like sounds like a really good one to immediately kick into. So I liked the differences on how you do that. Sorry, I just wanted to...
No, that's okay. I'm wrong.
I was not saying that.
Wrong.
You actually continued to that very thing, which you said you went from Hello City into Brian Wilson, which is, it's one of the best songs on there. So maybe Hello City might not be the best one to start with, but Brian Wilson seems like it might be a song to kick off the album with, or end the album with, one or the other.
Yeah, no, I was tempted to put Brian Wilson at the end. I was like, oh, but I really like the blend.
Or just busted your chops, man.
I know. So then finishing off Brian Wilson. And we've got to equal that energy. And I might lose you guys in a minute.
You're gonna go Be My Yoko Ono next.
Hold on a second. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. I gotta do this real quick.
Well, in the meantime, I can ask Mark because I believe you play the auto harp. Do you know?
Yes, I do.
Oh,
yeah,
that's such a cool instrument. Can you tell our?
You know what an auto harp is? Yay!
Yeah. I'm a big fan of the more esoteric instruments. Like the hurdy-gurdy is one of my favorite instruments of all time.
Nice.
Lots of really beautiful sounds. You guys, can you talk a little bit about the auto harp for our listeners who might not be as familiar?
You may remember such instruments from the 2nd grade. You may not actually, because the instrument is it's a folk instrument created in the late 1890s. It was popularized in the early 20th century. The Carter family, June Carter Cash, Johnny Cash's wife.
Yeah.
Joni Mitchell played it for a while. And then who was it? Lovin' Spoonful. John Sebastian played the auto harp. There aren't many of us, particularly professional.
There are dozens of us.
Ironically, so one of the first songs back in college, I used to sing the Scotsman. You know that song? Scotsman clad in kilt, left the bar window. Yeah. So it's a really funny song. The song was made famous by. It was written by I forget the guy's name, but it was made famous by Brian. Oh God, I'm drawing a blank on his name now. I had it but it turns out the guy was an auto harper. It was sung a cappella, but it turns out he was an auto harper, and just absolutely brilliant. But yeah, so it's a great singer's instrument. I think the biggest challenge with it is it has 36 strings, and so tuning it is a challenge.
Man, I can't even imagine.
Especially if you the rare occasion when I forget a tuner or something, then you're like, oh my God,
Tune it by ear.
I broke a lot of strings that way early on.
Man.
I have avoided that problem since.
Yeah. I don't blame
Always have the tuner. So, but yeah, it's a fun instrument, and it's very simple to play. You can do a lot with it. I do my sound. One of the things actually, back to Bare Naked Ladies, one of the things I rhythmically that I've now the way we play If I Had a Million Ducats is not at all like theirs, because I was trying to make it sound more like a Renaissance festival. But rhythmically these days, my style is a lot more like this album. Just that same rhythm, and that's how I've worked out my strum pattern with the auto harp, which I can literally say I'm the only person in the world who plays it like I play it, because it's so different. But yeah, it's fun.
Sorry, Aaron, my lights were going in and out. And
oh no!
I made you a co-host just in case.
Okay. I thought I felt somehow more powerful.
Yes,
while
you get a
Mark was
tingling
talking.
sensation.
I started glowing, giving off an aura.
So as I was saying, like, you have this wonderful ending with Brian Wilson. And you gotta match that energy. Like, if you're gonna have it in anywhere in the album and not at the very end,
Yoko.
You've got to match
or Enid.
And so my way of matching it.
Really?
He's going Yoko.
No.
Really? Grade 9?
Weird Al has entered the chat.
I don't know if I'd do that.
Vindicated.
Vindicated.
No offense, but
it brings it down a little bit,
It
but it's still
clashes
that
a little,
wacky
man.
energy.
I think you're Joe
Energy,
Strummer
I think
in
energy,
the
you're
Clash.
right, but yeah.
yeah.
But it kind of goes from like,
I like the idea of bringing it down a little bit from the that energy.
Yeah.
More so than the grade 9.
Well, at the end of grade 9
is
me, grade 9, baby. Yeah,
It's summer vacation.
This is me in grade 9, baby. This is me in grade 9.
Kind of Devo-ish too.
Drove downtown in the rain.
That's what most people go to, yes. I went to Enid.
Mm.
Oh man, this is like Stefan's where you got all the high energy ones up front.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a sugar crash, man.
It's definitely a very different.
Never really knew each other anyway.
So we still got that high energy going.
Straight up banger.
You know that squeaky noise in there? I just read today that was Michael Philip Voyevoda doing that.
Yes, it was.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. It was so cool talking to him.
Yeah.
So then we have the end. At that point, like we've hit a lot of bangers in a row. It's time to take it down a little bit, but this is kind of jazzy, so it's time to keep in with that kind of jazzy kind of feel.
I Love You.
Ah, okay. You're breathtaking. You're breathtaking.
Take my breath away. Same thing.
Featuring Jim Cregan on bass
I'd
guitar.
like to play that bass line. That's a good one.
At the end of that
Love that
song,
upright.
things are still kind of
Well,
Love you.
still jazzy, but they're up more upbeat at this point. So I think that we can kind of get back into an upbeat kind of feel. I love you too.
I didn't ask to.
See, if you took that intro,
My breath
and
is
if I was in a
kicking.
coma
What?
for like 15 years and I woke up and you played that for me and told me it was Brian Wilson, I might believe you.
New Kid on the Block, yeah.
So we go from New Kid on the Block.
Jordan Knight, we know you listen. Hawaiian Nights.
And go right into Be My Yoko Ono.
Don't blame me.
And if there's someone you can't live without, then do so.
We get those wonderful harmonies that are going on. It's more upbeat again.
I don't know how to quit you, Stefan.
From there, I think we need to bring it down again.
Bring it down.
Don't break it down.
Don't break it. Shake it, don't break it.
Go right into Wrap Your Arms Around Me.
I really like this song so much better than when I first heard it. I don't know. I don't like I hated it when I first heard it, but I don't know. I just like this. I appreciate it more now.
Yeah, you have to take your time with it.
Yeah, it eventually melted my ice cold heart.
It has to, yeah. You have to let it permeate your skin.
I wish I could live without you guys, but I can't.
We're going to leave out of Wrap Your Arms Around Me.
Oh.
With that wonderful trombone.
I forgot how jazzy this was. I really did.
Yeah, we do.
I wish
Break it down.
More stuff like this.
Oh, bring it down.
And go right into Box Set.
Yeah.
Get out the kitchen knives.
Never thought that you would love me
One of my
the way that you do.
It's smooth.
So we get a different feel. We get a different beat going on.
Is that more jazz or bossa nova, or what is that?
Well,
technically?
Latin jazz, bossa nova. Yeah.
Latin jazz, bossa
It's
nova.
all under the same tent.
Is that the Uruguay jazz from
Uruguay
from,
and Paraguay. Oh yeah,
Uruguay, yeah.
I've then got us going down to slow down a little bit again.
And now I'm wondering where my friends are in this time of need.
Because as we come out of that, we're going to go into What a Good Boy.
When I was born,
Who's a good boy?
Who's a good boy?
Yeah, if they call it Who's a Good Boy instead, that would be
what a strong boy.
Who's a good boy?
That would be okay. Okay. Pet themed song parody people out there.
Oh my god!
Who's a good boy? It's just
Get on
waiting to
Get
be taken.
on it.
Boy,
Just give me my
when
10%.
you were
So we leave
born,
What a Good Boy.
looked at you and said, what a good girl, what a smart girl, what a pretty girl, yeah, yeah.
You attempt.
And we need to pick up the speed a little bit again. We get that wonderful just guitar playing in the background, then we finally get the bass kind of rolling in, so we're picking up the speed as we go, coming out of What a Good Boy. As we leave Crazy,
You never leave crazy. It's with you all the time.
now I am getting rid of Dat Fodder at this point.
How dare you? It was great little improv bit.
I'm going into The Flag.
It's incredible this is the same band, because this sounds like it's from a Civil
know.
War movie.
That's why I say, like, half is one feel and the other half is a totally different feel.
As we leave The Flag, we get those wonderful harmonies, but I want to kick it up a little bit again.
Really?
It just feels a little jarring, man.
It feels
It's schizophrenic.
It's like a cold, yeah.
I feel like
cold
you're making your
bucket of
own
water on you
preservatives
after
and
you took a
jams at
nap.
home, because it's a little jarring.
Jarring, yes.
Well, I mean, we're talking about abuse, and then we talk about this guy who is
You're like, so anyway.
definitely
Look,
not a great person.
It could be a totally compelling musical. I think you and Stefan should both see who buys it on Broadway. Take your visions.
finally, I bring us into If I Had $1 Million.
Ducats.
Ducats, please, yes.
Because I feel like If I Had $1 Million is a great finish for this album. A nice down and out.
No, they're Canadian. They're not Finnish. I don't know if that.
Because instead of Dat Fodder in my hidden track, I've decided to put in Ballad of Gordon.
Ballad of Gordon. Okay,
well,
I fully endorse that.
I respect that, especially as like the secret song at the end. I think that's actually the thing about your mix that I most agree with. I think that is a lock. That is a lock.
It has such a great message to it too. It's a nice thought.
Yeah, it's a tolerance song.
Yeah, big time.
That was the one reason I couldn't put Brian.
I like a lot of your picks, but
If I Had $1 Million going into Ballad of Gordon.
I mean, I like a lot of your picks, but I just think Brian Wilson is like the closer, and some of the mood changes were like a little sudden. Like I would have liked a little bit more of a buffer between a couple of those. But I mean, I do think it's an interesting take, and I like a lot of your choices,
said,
I really like having Gordon at the end.
Like another really good idea would be putting Brian Wilson right at the very open of that album.
It deserves a spot, open or close. It deserves a featured spot at the head or the foot of the table, whichever you prefer.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that sounds like a good plan. So,
all right, as expected, mine did not go well.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. I do have a question, Mark.
Agree.
I'm not trying to dictate your future output or anything, but on the off chance that you were to pick another Bare Naked Ladies song to create a sort of Celtic version, what would you pick?
God, a Celtic version. So,
or the style of your choice. I like Celtic stuff.
Yeah. No. I mean, have you heard? Are you familiar with Tom Smith?
It's been 5 years since we went online. Laurel Takashima's gone, but Susan's so fine. 5 years since the Volon came. Someone tried to kill him, sink, they didn't take the blame. 12 years since we held the line. 24 hours missing out of Jeff's mind. Yesterday, it went off TV, but it'll still be okay, cause we got the story. Oh my god, how it enthralled me with Garibaldi. He's getting bolder every season. He got attacked, his buddy Jackie went and shot him in the back to keep on track to plan assassination treason. Hot like Ivanova and Talia. We're gonna draw ya, and then we'll kick a little Zathras.
Tom Smith is a filker. He's done a great. I can't remember the song now, but he did a great parody of 1 Week.
Oh, nice.
What is that?
Yeah, I've seen him. Okay.
He does some brilliant parodies. That's the first song that came to my mind, honestly. But
he's like the Jonathan Colton of the film community.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, he's one of the most prolific songwriters in the folk circle.
Well, you've got a lot of albums under your belt too.
I do, but Tom is very much in the vein of a filker. So my music, I call it sci-fi drinking songs. I do a lot of Celtic music fused with science fiction and fantasy. So yes, it's filk still. I'm still writing songs about fireflies, Star Wars, Star Trek, Firefly, Lord of the Rings, Doctor Who. Hitting all my fandoms, Dungeons and Dragons. Those hitting all my fandoms when I write songs. But I think he does just an absolute. I love his ability to craft songs like that, and so again, for that, 1 Week is the first one that came to my mind, but I'm not sure how I would do it in a Celtic style. As filking it, the first thing that comes to mind with that is his version of 1 Week, because it's just fantastic.
Nice, thank you.
But yeah.
Hey guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
No one noticed that I left a song off that album.
Oh.
That's because I got confused with your order.
Which I think the fact that I left it off and no one noticed it. No, box set.
No, he had box set. Blame it on me.
Blame it on me.
Oh no, buddy. No.
I we'll rectify that on the next
Tracy,
album.
listen, Tracy, sit down. We're all here because we love you.
Have a
Do
warm
you not
beverage.
like the song, or did you leave it off because
That's a good
I
question.
don't think it's as strong a song, and I think
Hold
the
on.
album is stronger by leaving it off because it gives too many down
guess-
moments on the album.
I didn't rate it that high. Heidi gave it a 5. Stefan gave it a 4.85. So,
Trying to think of
Stefan, you got to
something, but I
represent for your
can't.
homie here. He's like, I don't even remember which one, though.
What did I rate it?
Blame It On Me, 3.8. I rated it 3.55, but I think in my re-examination, I agreed with your 3.7, 3.8 range.
Yeah, it was on average.
No,
kind
I
of
said
around
almost-
a 3.7.
almost a 4.
It's a good
I like
song,
it more. I like it more that I listen to it now.
but I think that it there's the way I listen to it is I feel like there's too many down moments on Gordon, and I think that if you're gonna remove one song, that's the song to remove and then put it
Nice.
onto a later.
I didn't even know that.
So do you
Cool.
think that their music in
I
general?
have no idea.
Do you think of it as more upbeat music, or do you think of the
There's
ballads?
like thousands of songs.
Bare Naked Ladies music.
I would say the earlier years, there's a lot more of the ballads and the kind of angsty and depressing and kind of more acerbic. The humor was more acerbic. It was more cynical. So that definitely appeals to the angry 20-something that I somehow still think of myself
great
as.
album.
That appeals to me
Sorry.
a lot. So
Great songs.
I think in more recent years they've focused a lot more on the kind of pop rock with a little country flavor. Then they still do some ballads, and they've actually made some pretty decent ballads in recent years. But I associate that more with the early years. I think it was a more even mix.
Yeah.
Because I think it was almost 50-50 in this. For
Yeah.
ups
It
and
seems
downs.
like there's
About
a lot of ups and downs in there. So yeah.
I think they should have given "Blame It On Me" to Steven. That way he can sing it. That way all he has to sing is like "Blame It On Me." Is like, damn it. I left the
I always
band.
blame
Why?
it on the rain,
Blame it on me. Okay.
Don't blame it on Yoki.
Yeah.
Blame it on Milli Vanilli.
Yeah, that's my least
Don't
favorite
blame it on
song.
the rain.
Is "Be My Yoko Ono." I don't, for something, it just grates me. It just hits. I don't like it too much. I agree with you, Betsy, on that one.
Yay! Thank you.
It's just annoying. Weird.
I like it, but it's not.
Something
I mean,
about it. It's like
it doesn't compete with Enid, Brian Wilson, The Flag. There's songs that are better than that song, but I think it's a fun little song.
great.
Yeah.
And be on a different album.
This from the Gordon guy.
Yeah, I know, right? Get rid of that
The song he skips every
Gordon
time.
could do no wrong. Well, except this song.
Give
maybe.
it to Ed, you know? It's kind of his caliber.
Hey, Mark, before you go, can I share with you my favorite Firefly joke?
Yes.
You might know it already.
I
It's a
probably
good
do.
one.
I know what it is.
How does a reaver clean its blade?
Go for it.
He runs it through the wash.
Still too soon.
Too
Yes.
soon.
Spoiler
Alan
alert.
Tudyk, we know you listen. Come on the show.
I
Please,
do
Tracy,
want to
please.
add out and throw out a really interesting fact that I was able to find out in between the recording of our episode on Hello City and today. We now know the name of the bar that they played
Oh, in
in that they
Halifax?
did not like being in.
Ooh,
The
where is
horseshoe?
it?
No, well, they like the
Are they
horseshoe.
still open? First of all,
Oh, in Halifax. Oh,
So the name of the bar, Stephen alluded to it in his at-home live from home concerts, and
Yeah.
then by taking his clues that he gave and going online and whittling down what was available at that time, I have whittled it down to the pub that they played in that they did not enjoy that evening was the Lower Deck, which is the Lower Deck pub on 1887 Upper Water Street in Halifax. So if you ever want to, it's been there since 1974. So if you would ever wanted to go and figure out or visit like what that bar was that gave them such a briny feel for Halifax,
the brainy deep.
All right.
Then
I
They were
sense the
so
Lower
field trip
Deck.
coming.
Field trip.
Yeah.
Field trip.
We should invite
Go.
Enid to
Let's
meet
try
us
them.
there.
Get the passport.
Yeah, we should go there during the Royal Tattoo. That'd be
Royal tattoo.
that'd be awesome.
I don't know what that is.
Royal Tattoo is a basically a weekend of dancing and festivities commemorating military.
Oh, cool.
Scottish
Nice.
military up in Halifax, and it's
Yep.
pretty awesome.
no idea.
They've got
That's really
dancers,
cool.
they've got like band, drummers, and it's really really cool. It's a very
I'm sold.
busy
Let's
weekend
go.
up there, as for the Royal Tattoo in Halifax.
I was up to hear some bagpipes if I can.
Oh, it's
Yep.
Yeah.
it's pretty
Yeah.
awesome. It's pretty awesome.
I would love to get to that area at all. So,
It's
Yeah,
beautiful. I
yeah.
do love that.
Seems like
Yeah.
that would be
Oh,
a bag, yeah.
it's a dirty city, but the streets are clean. I mean, they're very clean. Not a lot of gum, no.
Because of all the alcohol on it.
It's just
They've been disinfected.
no, it's not.
Hey, now you hoser.
Hey, loser. Can't all be Tim Hortons.
So, Mark, you were alluding to earlier that you have been doing podcasting for a long time. Can you tell
Yeah.
us a little bit more about podcasts that you have out there?
So yeah, I started podcasting was it April or May of 2005. And so I have a Brobdingnagian podcast. I put out a cat lovers podcast.
Yeah.
I put a Renaissance Festival podcast.
Nice.
That one I no longer run, but it's still going. But the big ones that I'm still doing now are Pub Songs and Stories, and the granddaddy is the Irish and Celtic Music podcast, which is the largest podcast of Celtic music in the world.
Yay.
So,
Wow, that's awesome.
but that's been going for 20 years, and I've been it's basically a radio show. I promote Celtic bands from around the globe.
Huh.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Darby O'Gill.
Yeah,
Love Darby
I haven't.
O'Gill.
So the podcast relies on bands giving permission. So I'm familiar with Darby O'Gill, and I've never had been able. I'm not sure if Darby O'Gill is still playing, or
No.
I don't know.
No, but a lot of people still cover a lot of his.
I know the name. Yeah,
You know, what's the one with a tree in the swamp?
Bog Down in the Valley.
Yeah.
Or Rattling Bog. Yeah.
Bog.
Probably looking about.
That is awesome. It's just, I love the Sick Note. That's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah.
Um,
That was on my first solo album, actually. Yeah.
was it?
Nice.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I love,
I love that song. Yeah, I love Irish music. It's,
Yeah.
So do you focus on strictly Irish performers or like people who aren't necessarily Irish but sing Irish music?
It's the latter.
Okay.
My goal is to promote. I had a few early on. I had a few rules. So because I play the auto harp and Andrew plays recorder and mandolin. So Andrew and I, he plays recorder. So we say we play grade school instruments. But he, because our instruments were so different and our sound was so different, one of the things that I first did when I started the podcast, which I started in part to promote my band, is I made it pretty open. And my goal was to promote Celtic bands, Celtic musicians. They didn't necessarily have to be, straight from Ireland or Scotland or wherever. In fact, most of the bands are coming probably from the States, so a lot from Canada. There are some, but you still get some from everywhere from Ireland to UK to France to Japan, South Africa. I've had them literally all over the world. So yeah, it's been really cool pulling all these bands together and promoting them in this fashion, and it's helped a lot too, because early on I used to tell people, buy the music, support the bands, because and I still tell that, but because that's the way musicians make money, especially these days when streaming is everything, and people aren't doing as much. Actually, the podcast isn't on Spotify for this very reason, because it's sort of quote unquote competition for Spotify. But it's been going on for 20 years. It was less regular back then, but now it's going just 4 times a month, nearly every week. So
That's really cool. I gotta check that out. My eyebrows went up when you said from Japan, because my introduction to Celtic music came by way of Japan because there was an orchestrated version of the soundtrack from Final Fantasy IV called Final Fantasy IV Celtic Moon. And I don't know how I even came across that. Probably something that rhymes with Rapster online back in the day. But I found it and I just fell in love with it, and I started to seek out more Celtic music, and that was my gateway.
Yeah. So we got started on mp3.com, and we made our name largely.
I was on mp3.com.
Yeah.
I put out 2 albums on mp3.com.
Did you really?
Yeah, when I was in high school. Electronic music.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So we put our music up on mp3.com, and we started, doing all this stuff, and it just started exploding. And it got really big. We ended up releasing writing a tune, an instrumental tune for at this Irish pub, and it was very haunting. We ended up calling it Tolkien. And it turned out it was. We didn't know it at the time, but it was right before the release of the Lord of the Rings movie. So
you just must have blown up. Yeah,
we exploded.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. And so that's where our whole band got started, and then we got into the Renaissance Festival circuit, and then the science fiction circuit, and then and then we split up in 2008. And I started doing solo stuff, and then reunited back in 2016, I think it was, and started doing stuff using Patreon to promote our band, and such. And then still making music. We have a new album that we just kickstarted, and really excited about that one because it has some, if I do say so myself, it has some really good, fun songs. Very Renaissance Festival songs. There's a song. Basically, if you know the song Old Dun Cow or McIntyre, somebody shouted McIntyre, McIntyre. I wanted a song like that, so I wrote a Hobbit song version, which is all about mushrooms. So
a shortcut to mushrooms. Good.
Everyone says mushrooms. And
to bring you up on Spotify, how do you spell your band's name?
BROB.
BROB.
DING.
DING.
NAG.
Okay.
IAN.
Bards.
Oh.
Brobdingnagian.
Yep.
That's awesome.
What's so difficult about that?
Brobdingnagian. Like Borb, Tracy,
come on now.
That way I can bring you up and I can start listening to your stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool,
awesome,
man.
Oh, the Celtic covers that you guys do of the traditional songs are just beautiful.
Thank you so much. We've had a lot of fun with some, just different things. So we actually did a cover of, we call it the King Song, which it was loose. We call it the King Song because it's I Can't Help Falling in Love with You, but done a little bit more in the lines of the version that was done. I can't remember the name of the band, but it's the end of Some Kind of Wonderful, I think it is.
Yeah.
But they had this drum thing going, but we have this. I have this rhythm thing going on my auto harp, and I don't remember if that version has me singing it in Latin, but I know I was singing it in Latin as well.
Oh, that's cool.
So
that sounds pretty chilling.
Yeah. But there's a lot of fun, songs. We got songs, Wild Mountain Time. Recently, the newest albums, we're doing a lot more original songs, but we had found a song on mp3.com, the Jedi Drinking Song.
Tracy.
Which is really what launched my sci-fi drinking songs things, because I found that song. It was a Canadian band, the Dust Rhinos, and we started playing that, and then the latest album we just released had 2 more of. We have a prequel. We have the last Jedi Drinking Song, and then of course Jedi Mickey, which is when Disney bought Star Wars. So.
That's pretty cool. Sounds like a song that you could have on like a movie like Bowling for Alderaan or something like that.
Right. Well, a lot of the songs, interesting. A lot of the songs that I do. So when we started, we were writing songs and parodies about characters and such. But what I have done since then is largely written songs that are like within the verse. So instead of writing about the characters, you're writing about things that are happening in the world. So on sci-fi drinking songs, for instance, I have a song called "Bring Me Home, Boys," which is inspired by the episode, the message of Firefly, with he has that message saying, "Bring me home, bring me back to my family." And I take this story and I tell the story from a soldier fighting in the Battle of Serenity Valley, and one of them's not going to make it home, and it's dark song, but it's a powerful song too, and that's when I really started to find a lot of fun writing songs. And like my latest albums, Come Adventure With Me is my latest solo CD, and it has a track inspired by the 1977 Rankin and Bass film The Hobbit.
Nice, yeah.
And it's a song all about overcoming fear. Or there's a song, what is it, Naked, which I wrote for from Trash, the episode Trash of Firefly. And mostly I just wanted to sing naked multiple times, but
As one does.
But
Yes.
but yeah, so it's fun. A lot of what I try to do is try to write songs that are inside the world that I'm trying to that I love, and being a part of that universe. Yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, and some of your other songs that are story songs, I really enjoy Seven Drunken Nights.
Yeah.
And Leprechaun, that storytelling aspect.
Yeah, the storytelling is when my first album I ever released was an album called Geography, and it had, at the time I was coming out of a alternative rock punk band, not really great songwriting, and the lyrics were like one of the songs on the album was la 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 lounging in la la land, really bad lyrics, and I realized though when I started playing the Bards in particular is that the story songs are the songs that I'm able to write. I don't know how Bob Dylan writes a song, because oh my God, you tell a story and it's a bunch of nonsense. But for me, I'm like my best songs are the story songs, the songs that tell a story of some sort. Yeah.
Well, I think that's a lot of what I love about folk songs or stuff like that, like New York Girls, Botany Bay, songs like that tell a story are very compelling. I think they really kind of grip you.
It's easier to get. Well, I mean, stories in general are the things that really capture your mind and help people connect. Like my podcast, Pub Songs and Stories. The reason it's gone over many changes over the years, but one of the reasons I love what I do with the show is I gather stories or either tell my own stories or have other musicians tell stories about songs that they perform, because it helps so much for people to connect with the song even better. Sometimes you have a great song, but you don't quite understand why it's a great song until you really sit down and listen and try to understand what it is. Or if someone says, here's a little bridge, this song is about this particular thing, and you're like, oh, and all of a sudden it truly connects. Like a lot of songs. I have a song called She's Shiny from my second Firefly CD, and the song it's about got people who have trouble expressing themselves emotionally, I say, and it's all about Malcolm Reynolds and how he has trouble expressing himself, but it's also relatable to anyone who has trouble expressing themselves. And you lay that as a groundwork, and then you come across the chorus and you're like, oh my God, this is catchy. She is shiny, oh so shiny. So it works out really good to bring people into to what the song is really about, and to connect with it. Yeah.
Well, I look forward to listening to your music on Spotify at least. So
yeah, and I'm going to be listening to Gordon tomorrow. So
Nice. So people can check in with you at thebards.net. Is that correct?
Yeah, thebards.net or keltfather.net. Those are the two places. So my solo stuff is at keltfather.net. But the bards.net is the Brobdingnagian Bards. And you can find that little audio clip, how to say Brobdingnagian.
Tracy.
But really funny story, though. So that little clip, I am convinced, and I don't have any written accurate real proof about this, but I am convinced that Big Bang Theory ripped us off.
Oh no!
So I don't know if you remember the episode, but there's in one of the episodes, Sheldon gets has having desk envy, and he gets a huge Brobdingnagian desk, and I think and I think the other guy, I can't remember his
Leonard?
name, but no, it was the guy with the list.
Kripke.
Kripke, yeah.
Yeah,
Kripke is like
Kripke.
he's like, can you say that 3 times fast? Hey.
Yeah, so I remember that now.
I'm convinced that they found it on our website. And we're like, we can use that joke.
I mean, they are huge geeks.
Well, our guest next week is Legal Eagle. No. Gonna help you sue. No, that's really cool though.
No, I consider it when we were on that, thing
homage.
that rhymes with Flatster. Our comment frequently was, it's like, we're good enough to steal. Yay.
I was on that
They're talking about us.
music sharing application, and once I just kind of randomly did like a vanity search for my own band, not expecting to find anything because I released like 2 albums on mp3.com way back in the day. And I found someone with my music, and I was like, oh my God. So you could message people over that application. So I was like, hey, do I know you? I was like, maybe it's one of my friends who has my stuff ripped to their computer. Did not know me, and I was like, okay, that's my
flattering.
15 seconds of fame.
Yay.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, I made it.
Yeah.
I did it.
Mark, you have been amazing to have on the show.
Thank you so much for coming on the
joining
show.
us.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a great time. This was fun, and learned a lot more about the songs on the album.
Oh, do you have any shows? Yeah, the story. Do you have any shows coming up? You doing any live shows?
I'm actually not doing a whole lot until March, which of course St. Patrick's Day, so I'll be doing some St. Patrick's
you'll be
Day.
busy.
But I'm doing Sherwood Forest Fair in Texas, and
nice.
I'll be back with the Brobdingnagian Bards at Dragon Con, and I'll be at Gen Con, which is my other big convention that I do. So
Nice.
I'll be around doing lots of stuff, and I do some shows online as well. So
I don't know how inside baseball the Austin music scene is, but do you know Mike Torres, Mike TV from Get Set Go?
No, and I actually
ask.
moved from out of Austin in 2008.
Yeah. Now you're in. Yeah.
So it's
now
been a
you're
long
in Atlanta.
time.
He was probably still in
ships.
California at that point. Actually.
Okay.
I think
Yeah. But I
that?
did know a lot of people back then, but it's been a long time now.
Well, hey, thanks again, Mark. So good to meet you.
Thank
Nice
you.
to meet you, Mark.
Discuss music.
It was great meeting y'all too.
Wish you the best.
Awesome.
Brobdingnagian.
Good job.
Yay!
All right, 3 times fast.
Brobdingnagian. Hey!
I still can't.
Brobdingnagian.
Thank you, Tracy.
Tracy, good job.
Good job, buddy.
Way to turn the rep
See?
all the way around.
He's completed his arc. The hero has returned home, having
Of
course,
changed.
now that I said it right, I have to keep all the times I said it
The
wrong
change
in
being
there.
now he can
Splice
pronounce
it in there.
Brobdingnagian.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That was awesome.
Thanks,
Hope
guys.
Well,
everyone
have
has
a great night, everyone, and thanks. That was fun.
All right. Thank y'all so much.
Bye,
See you
guys.
next time.